Spirit Talk Live with Scott Allen is for entertainment purposes only.
My dear friend, a wonderfully, wonderfully gifted medium. I've seen him in action. It would blow your minds wide open. He's just incredible.
Patrick from London, you are on the air. Welcome to the show.
I mean, this reading has meant more to me than anything. And I'm so grateful.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to Spirit Talk Live. It is always a pleasure to spend Wednesday evening with each of you, and thank you for spending time with us. So I'm very excited about tonight's show. And, you know, since we shifted to the mediumship show, it's really, we have some incredible guests booked up right through into the summer for you. But tonight, we are going to be chatting with a man who is a medium, and like me, didn't open up to his mediumship until later in life. And I learned about him because he filmed an episode of Dark Echoes Paranormal, which is on Paraflix and Amazon Prime. And I also have filmed a couple of episodes. Hi, Melissa. Good evening. And so the producer kind of put us together and said, here, I think, you know, Steven's incredible, so you need to get him on your show. So that's what we did, and we reached out, and he's here tonight. But before I introduce him, you know, each week, if you watch the show, I do a little thing called Notes Through the Veil. And it's like a reading, except it's coming out in sort of an automatic writing kind of thing. And I never know who it's for. I get a vibe of who the person might be connected to, but the messages come through, and they come through on paper. So I'm just going to read that to you. I like to do that at the very beginning of the show before we bring people in. I'll read it to you. It's brief. If you know who this connects to, please let us know. If not, have them check it out. I'll put it on my Facebook page, Spirit Talk Live Facebook page, and I hope we can make that connection. So the message today says, hello, my family. You were right. I see. I saw immediately that the heavens had opened up for me. I'd hoped, but I had little faith. The pain I endured these last few years left me hopeless, but that's done. I'm still here. Please say hello to my grandson, who shares my name. He has my spunk and headstrong way. Becoming disabled was difficult, and I know it was for you as well. But I love you all, and I am still here with you. And I want to just say with this, I get the feeling that this person is connected with people in the Midwest, and perhaps someone by the name of Katie. So if you know who that might be, please share it with them. But like I said, it'll be on the Facebook page like it is every week. So as I was saying to you, our guest today grew up in Providence, Rhode Island. He is an attorney. He's also a medium. He has his own radio show, and he's a teacher. And it wasn't until he was an adult that he discovered that he had these gifts. And like me, there was no thought of this, as you know, back when he was a child. He also has a book out, and the book is called The Suicide Gift, and I'm hoping he'll share a little bit of that with us as well. And so, without further ado, welcome to the show, Stephen Macek, also known as Stephen the Medium. How are you?
I am really good, Scott, and just excited to be here.
Yeah, me as well. I'm so happy to have you. So, you know, as I was saying earlier, is, you know, we've both done Dark Echoes, and I did an episode in Pennsylvania back in January, and I don't know when you actually filmed at the Concord Colonial Inn, but your episode is live now. It's on Amazon Prime, so if anybody's watching, you can go and watch it and see Stephen at the Concord Colonial Inn. It was amazing. I think mine might be the next one, but I'm not sure. You know how that goes. But it was a great experience, and all I heard was how fantastic you are. You know, you're kind of like the next John Edwards. That's what I heard. So like no pressure for me walking in before I heard that about you. So it was
Oh, no
great.
pressure from me right now, Scott. Just
No,
saying.
no. You've done this before. You have your own show, right? Now, where's your show based out of? Is it in New Bedford or where do you?
No, it's based in Attleboro. It's at
Oh, Attleboro. Okay.
RA 1320 AM, and it's on Fridays. And for about 4.5 years, I was doing it every Wednesday, but it just got too much for me to handle that. I was still practicing law. I was doing the mediumship.
Yeah.
So I only do it the last Friday of the month. And my husband, Elix, does his show every Friday. So he gives up one Friday, the last Friday of the month, and I sort of pop in with Through the Static. But his show is fantastic too. Get a Grip with Coach.
What is that about? What is Get a Grip about?
He's an executive coach. He's pretty.
Oh, okay.
He's a pretty fantastic. So he has a lot of different guests on also, but his his shows are always. His goal is always to have people listen and almost sort of like a therapist or a counselor to walk away with a tool that is just going to benefit the person. It's pretty incredible.
Wow, that's great. That's
It
great.
is.
Well, I haven't heard your show, and are you also on YouTube or something? If somebody wanted to watch it or follow it like this, because this is through KGRA. Now, KGRA is in Ogden, Utah. And clearly, I can't connect with Ogden, but people can watch it through Facebook and YouTube. And we are also, and I don't know if you know this. I don't think I told you this before, but we are also live right now in the United Kingdom. We're live in England, and when I first started doing my show, it was offered to me by Pulse Talk Radio in the UK. And then when I got picked up by KGRA, we started sending them recordings every week. But once we went live with Spirit Talk Live, because the show was a little different until recently, once we went live with Spirit Talk, we found a way to kind of do it live at the same time. So it's nice I don't have to send them recordings, but it's also nice that they get to listen to us live as well and take part in the conversation, which is great.
I love that. Hello, United Kingdom. I have actually in my show, I have people that are calling, which I'm sure like the same for you, Scott. I think it's so impressive because it's usually so much later there, right? I think they're like 7 hours ahead of us. So
it is. It's late. I think it's like what, 12, 1 to 2 or 12. What is it now? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's like 12 to midnight, I think.
For those people with insomnia are listening right now.
They're up. It's funny because I booked a woman on the show. She's a pet psychic, and she's kind of like a celebrity psychic over in the UK. And I met her through Pulse Talk, and she's coming on over the summer. But she said, "Don't worry about me. I'm like a night owl. I'm up all night long." So that's perfect.
I love it.
So how did you discover this? How did you discover your gift?
So as you mentioned, Scott, like you, I had absolutely no idea. And I love telling this story because for people that, may feel like they just so badly want to connect or get more signs or so, the great thing is it's possible for this to happen at any point to anybody. So I didn't have any idea, any clue that I had any kind of connection. And I was just living my life. I was, an attorney. And in 2010, Elix, who I talked about a second ago, my husband, who we just Monday celebrated our 31st anniversary.
I've been spying on you. I just saw. Congratulations. I was on your Facebook page. Yeah.
No, thank you, Scott. In any case, we went and, I lost my dad when I was 8 years old and he took his life. So I don't think I had seen a medium at that point. So in 2010, we were going to go see this very reputable medium in Massachusetts. And on the drive there, Elix was driving and I was praying to him, Dad, you got to come through. You got to come through. And it was about a venue of 100 people. And when the medium started, she said she's ready to start. When she walks up to you, she will ask you your name and then she'll ask you to stand up. So I'm very excited. She walks out, she starts it. She comes directly to me, first one, and my heart was pounding because I wanted to hear from my dad. And she looked at me and she said, "What is your name?" And I said, "Stephen." But she's just staring at me and she's not saying stand up. And Elix is next to me. And then she said to me, "You're a psychic and you don't know it." And then she turned around and she walked away. And Scott, I'm not kidding you, she never came back to me. I never got a reading, and a couple of minutes in, Elix sort of tapped me and said, "Did you hear what she said?" And I really honestly always say, when I tell the story, that I looked back at Elix, this is the truth, and said, "I think she's psycho, because I am not a psycho. Like, I have no idea what she's talking about."
Yeah.
I thought she was talking about the people behind me. To be honest, Scott, I'm like, well, it must be someone that's sitting behind me that is a psychic or a medium. And she didn't ask them, so we don't know. And then the next day, because I could not get this off my mind, I emailed her, and she responded immediately and apologized and said, I never would have done that. My intention was to speak to you before you left. And she was sort of bombarded with a lot of people, so we never got to her. But she offered me and Elix a spot in her class that she was going to be teaching, but we were going to be in New York City, so we never did. And that's how sort of the light switch went on. But it took a long time, even after that, because I went into, like, I think my first reading was like 2015. So it was a slow process, but a lot of anxiety. I've always had anxiety, and I've always had, dealings, I think, from when my dad died at 8 years old. I always had just a lot of, I guess anxiety is the best way to call it, but this was anxiety on steroids, Scott. And once I found out, it was like the energy was going through me, but I didn't know how to handle it.
Yes.
And then finally, Elix bought me this home study to become a certified medium, and I did it. And then here I am. That's how it started.
And when it's supposed to happen, it just unfolds for you. It's unbelievable. I'd love to, and we are gonna. Eileen's asking, "You gonna do readings tonight?" Yeah, we are, Eileen. We're gonna do readings,
of course.
But I gotta tell you this, because I was telling you earlier, we've followed a similar trajectory in many ways, including where your office is. I know you were raised in Providence, but you're from New Bedford. That's where your office is. That's where I grew up. We have a lot of similar things. You were an adult. I was an adult when all of this came about. But I went with my mother back, oh God, this has to be the 1990s. So we're going way back. And she picked me out of the crowd we were in Boston at the Heinz Convention Center. There was a ton of people. John Holland had opened up for her, and she came out and she called on me, or something. I don't remember how it happened at this point, because it's so long ago, but she looked at me and she said, "You can do this, don't you?" And I said, "No." You got the wrong guy. And I was a funeral director. Like, you can't talk to dead people when you work in a funeral home. They lock you up. So that was like the first thing, but I didn't believe her, and I completely just abandoned it for years, until I couldn't abandon it anymore. And then it was, like you say, it was all over the place. It was anxiety. I can't control it. I don't know how to deal with it. And then, somewhat you kind of get a handle on things, and you realize what a beautiful gift it is. Do you practice law anymore, or you're done? Good for you.
No, I think it's just been, Scott, just over a year. So the spring of 2023, I decided to call it quits, because it was just getting too much. And Elix, as I talked about being the executive coach, he said to me, I was talking about my frustration about wanting to do more. And he said to me, "Stephen, you can't have one foot in legal and one foot in mediumship. It's got to be either one." And I fought him for many years, because I kept saying, but I need to live in, Scott, legal, being a lawyer has always been really good to me financially, obviously. And I loved representing kids. That's what I did for 20 years. But then it did get to a point that I was sort of like just pulling each side of me, one legal and one mediumship piece. And then finally, in the spring of last year, I decided, what, I've got to cut the ties. I've done this for 20 years, and I think it's ready for me to go into the next chapter. So that's how it worked.
For you. Good for you. Actually saying, where are you from? So your office is in New Bedford, right? Is that where your
my office is in New Bedford, but I'm sure by anybody listening to me are going to say he's from New York, because being from Rhode Island, and especially the Providence, Johnston, Cranston, we talk like New York. I don't know why, we just do. This is the way we're brought up.
Massachusetts is like that. I don't know. I don't think I ever had it, but my family does for sure. It's, give me a phone number. Yeah, number, you know. So yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, Nancy's saying how similar your lives are. Yeah, it is. There's a lot more to it too, and someday I'll share that with you. So I want to say to people too, while we're here, the number is scrolling across the bottom of the screen: 1775-264 spirit or 775-264-7747. Now you can come through the chat like you are. But I really love if you want a reading, if you want to hop on the air. I feel like for me, it's a little easier to hear your voice. I don't know about you, Stephen. I mean, I could kind of go through the chat. The problem is the delay back and forth. You know, somebody says something, then they run out in the other room for coffee or something, and then you're kind of going back and forth. So feel free to call. We'll put you on the air, and we would love to chat with you. 775-264 spirit. Let me look through and see what we've got going on here now and see. Let's see. Here we go. Matt says, two amazing mediums. Let's see. An amazing coach. You're talking about Elix, which is great. Matt is from Dark Echoes Paranormal. And if you haven't seen the show, please go on and check it out. Please go on and check it out.
Hey, Matt. Matthew's in the house.
All right. Actually, I think Matt's on the phone. Let's say hello to Matt. Hang on one second. Matt can hear us right now. Matt, you're on the air. How are you? Matthew. Oh, did he go? Where's Matt? No. He just said this is really fabulous. Matt wanted to say hi to everybody. I think he just kind of went away. I don't know. That's all right. I don't know. I think he just wanted to say hi. But that's all right. We're good. So anybody else wants to come on, please do. Please come on. And we would love to chat with you. Now, yeah. We had one from Thailand. Now, I'm not sure that that's a real call. So we're going to see how that plays out if they call back. I don't know. Interesting, from Thailand. So let's see. Let's go down the list here. Eileen Stoller said hello. Hello, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen.
And Ashley Martin, who we see regularly. Good to see you, Ashley. And let's see. Melissa. You aren't old enough to have been married 31 years.
I love Melissa.
Almost old enough to have a child who's been married 31 years for me, which is frightening. Oh, let's see. Is she back on the call? Let's see. I'm going to see who this person is. I don't know. We're going to give it a shot here. Hello, you're on the air. How can we help you? Hello. All right. People spooking us tonight. Anna Cordova is also someone that checks in regularly. She's on the show. Nice to see you as well. And Antone Ritter. Hello, Antone. Melissa, Nancy, thank you. Ashley Martin. I tried to call. Ashley, try again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you have anonymous calling, but for some reason, we should be getting you on the air, and we were doing this earlier, and there was no problem at all. So I'm not sure what's happening. You can try it. Here's somebody calling from Lowell. So we're going to give this a shot and see. They're talking right now. Hello from Baton Rouge, Mike Billings. Hi, Mike. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in tonight. So good to hear from you. And let's see. All right. So I don't know who this is. Processing audios. Auto screen. I don't know who that is unless I see it. Calling for Laurel. So we're going to give this a shot now. Hello, and David Andrews might be. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Let's try this. Hello, you're on Spirit Talk Live. How can we help you? This is really odd because this afternoon, that's all we could hear was this thing. Let me make sure we're connected.
Spirit.
I know, I tend to break things, not going to lie, but it really is odd that, it really is odd because this afternoon, we could hear everybody, and
people can't be that shy, right? We don't bite.
I don't think so. Not unless you ask nicely. Let me
You
see.
get a free reading. Yeah, seriously, you get a free reading.
You get a free reading. I'm going to drop the call. I don't know what's happening with this tonight, folks. So if you want to go through the chat, you can't. This is really odd. We practiced with this afternoon and we got it all going. So I don't know. Let's see. I can hear you on the phone, but you're not hearing my call on your end. Yeah, I know. And you can hear, obviously, you can hear me and I can hear everything going on. I don't know why. That is really, really odd. Let me see, make sure I'm connected to the right thing. Let's see. Let me just check my Bluetooth. Nope, it's live radio, folks. Let me see. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Let's see. Settings. Just want to make sure I'm connected to the right. Yeah, no, I'm connected. It should be coming through. I haven't a clue in the world why I can't hear anything that's going on. That's all set. Yeah, should be. Everything's on. All right. So we're just going to go with it. Yes, I heard you, and there's a reason you can't hear us or your earbuds off. I don't have earbuds. It says you're having difficulties on your phone calls. I know, Matt, we are, and I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why we're having difficulties because it was working earlier. I'm gonna go with this. Here we go. Ashley's saying, could I pretty please have a reading? It's amazing what you both do. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. What narrow it down a little bit, Ashley, because I feel like, we can't, it's not the venue to do a full reading, but you, what would you like to talk about? That's why I like getting them on the air.
I can feel with Ashley, there's a small animal. There's a cat or a dog. I don't know how long ago this was, but when I tune into Ashley's energy, there's something that is just like really around her. So it almost feels like it may have not been too long ago that something died or something passed away. But I just keep feeling this fur around her. She's a very animal connected person, Ashley.
Yeah, see, I don't see her. She didn't come back. Let's see. Oh yeah, here she is. Yep. There he is. Yes, February 23rd. You're right on, Stephen. Yep.
I mean, I can just go if
Go ahead. My father-in-law. Is that who passed, Ashley? Your father-in-law on February 23rd? Go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead and see what you can pull up. And in as well.
I was gonna actually ask her who the father energy was. I wasn't sure if it was dad, father-in-law, grandfather, but if it is father-in-law who passed away, Bob, Bill, Brian, there's a B name he keeps saying. Whoever this is, if it is the father-in-law, but this father energy loves Ashley. Says that Ashley is one of a kind. That she's got such a amazing heart and compassionate, but she will also just tell you, the way it is in such a gracious, heartfelt way. She talks. It's got to be then the father-in-law because he keeps talking about his son. It feels like, and there's two kids. It's interesting, Scott and Ashley. I have so many people here for Ashley. Ashley's very connected. So I can feel the father-in-law speaking, but then I can also feel a grandmother talking. So the two, I don't know if it's the father-in-law saying there was two kids, so she's married to one, or Ashley's got one of two, or sometimes when they say two, I don't know if the person I'm talking to is included, meaning that there's three altogether, but there's two siblings. But the Ashley's also in a change mode. There's something going on with her, and there's healthcare connected, like a nurse or a CNA or something healthcare. The father-in-law loves her, just absolutely loves her.
That's great. Thank you, Stephen.
And Elizabeth, by the way, too. I don't know if that's her middle name, but I just heard say Elizabeth. So there's either someone living or cross-connected as Elizabeth.
Beautiful. I need to put this up on the screen here. Nancy says she just lost a pet 2 weeks ago, and she was the one that called in, but we couldn't get through. And
oh my God!
Very possible. Very possible.
Yeah, that's the animal that felt like it was just not too long ago, and in that it was the but it's I can't tell if it's a dog or a cat. I think it's a dog, but it's a smaller animal. That's what I keep feeling. So and there's a B name connected to it. So either the breed or the name. And it may not even be that animal, it may be a previous animal. So for Nancy. But that animal or pet or part of the family was very, very spoiled.
Yeah. I know Nancy. She did have I know she had a cat that passed not that long ago. It was a cat. It was very, very recent. So, and she was just telling me this afternoon, and she was the one that was helping me with this thing, kind of screening the calls, and we were able to get it. That's why I don't know. She says we're freezing on live. I don't know whose video it is. Let me see if I can get her in again. She's in the queue here. Hello,
live tonight with this.
Eileen.
Hi.
Yeah, hey, we got you. Hi, Eileen.
Oh, nice. You were freezing, so I wasn't sure if I could connect with you.
Well, that's why I have a coat on. I'll tell you why I have a coat on. I'm indoors, and I made the because this is a like a Zoom background, you know, and I made the mistake of wearing a shirt with green stripes, so you can look right through me. If I take the jacket off, you can see right to the other side.
Oh, okay.
Take it off, Scott.
Take it off. You don't want to see. Look, so there it is. Oh, that's
Oy
not bad.
vey.
That's not bad. Actually, it's better than it was. It's better than it was. I had to tuck the collar in. Okay, so I know you wanted a reading. Eileen, what's your thought?
Yeah.
Do you have anything, Stephen, for Eileen?
Well, I don't know. I think that aren't you supposed to wait for the others on the other side to connect and not have expectations?
Well, it depends on what kind of reading you're looking for. You know, if you're looking for a mediumship reading, that's one thing. You know what I mean? If you're looking for a psychic reading, that's something else. Yeah, I mean, we can tune in and see what's around you.
Oh, I love psychic, by the way.
You love psychic too. Okay.
This is Eileen.
This is Eileen.
Hi, Eileen.
Me?
Eileen, so you're the one that lost the cat?
No, that's
Okay,
Nancy.
No.
That's Nancy.
Okay, got it.
I love you.
Totally
No.
different. Totally different. Yeah.
Eileen, where is the father?
Sorry, that was the other caller.
Where is the father energy for
Sorry,
you?
I didn't quite get that. He is passed.
So know that dad wants to make sure you know that he's stepping forward. And he wanted to be first to let you know that he was here. He feels like he's been going for a long time, Eileen. And usually long time, usually about 10 years or more. But that man is with you every second. He's just always around you, always with you. He just said happy birthday or happy anniversary. There's something either connected to you personally or connected to like mom, dad, sister, brother. But there's something 2 weeks back or 2 weeks forward that's a birthday or an anniversary of death, something like that.
My husband's birthday was today.
No, I love that.
There you go.
I love that. But your husband's
So
here, right?
you nailed it.
Eileen, your husband is living though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Is mom still here?
No, he's
Um,
passed as well.
You know, Eileen, I asked it that way because honestly, I could not figure it out. Your mother, I was talking about how I was talking to Scott about how I have 1 foot in, and used to have it in legal and one in the mediumship piece. Your mother's got 1 foot here and 1 foot in spirit. She's a hoot. She just feels like she feels like she needs to be here for you and in such a great way, in a good way, and how much she loves you. And she keeps saying, talk about the ring. There's something with someone's ring.
Okay.
You don't have her ring?
I do.
Oh,
I do.
I thought so because she's it's not really about the ring. It's just about, she loves the fact that you have that and what it sort of means to you. Eileen, are you the one that's very like artistic?
Oh, God, you should see me draw. I can't even draw like a straight line.
You know what's really funny, Eileen? every time I say that to someone, people usually 9 out of 10 times give me the same response you just did, because people just think art means drawing, and it doesn't. Artistic is the reason why I said to your mother, all right, so now give me something that if you're telling me she is, you are really, really good with like looking at a room and placing things or colors. And there's also like another generation underneath you. I don't know, you know, you sound young, so I don't know if it's kids or grandkids, but someone is very, very also very artistic and can sketch or draw.
Yes, yes. You nailed it.
So if you get that, it's just your mom and dad giving that as a such a beautiful validation, let you know that they're with you and they're around you all the time. And someone's retiring or just thought about retirement. This retirement somewhere around you.
Just my ovary.
But
That was a stupid joke. Sorry.
Are they technically mom jokes if they come from a woman?
Right.
Exactly.
Sorry, guys.
No.
I will let you go. I don't want to hog up all the time.
No, you're good.
I love your skills. I appreciate it. I think you're amazing.
Thanks for hopping on the show.
Thank you, Eileen.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye
Nice
now.
going.
You know, it's so funny, Stephen, and I know you do your show. I don't know. I feel like for me, trying to navigate this and navigate the microphone and watching the chat, it's really difficult to kind of be back and forth in it. You know, sometimes it works better than others for me. It's better when I'm just kind of sitting there, just going with the flow. You know what I mean? I don't have to work at it. But really,
Scott, I don't do that on my radio show. I don't do what you do. I have a producer who does all of that. So
that's right.
Absolutely, what you're saying is true. I just wait for the phone calls, and focus. That I could not.
Can't. It's really, really difficult. And
I couldn't do that, Scott.
we were supposed to use the KGRA phone lines, but she's got a show right after this, so they can't do the lines for the whole show. And I said, all right, let's try this. But you know, it's possible I may find someone that can actually screen the calls for me, because it's you know, it's a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot going back and forth. So, but it's hard to get, you know, you connecting to spirit, then you're back, then you're connecting, then you're back, you know.
Absolutely.
Ashley Martin says she keeps trying to call. I don't know if this is you, Ashley, from Monroe, North Carolina. I think she keeps hanging up or something. I'm not sure what's happening. Whoever it is keeps hanging up on the line. Yeah. It's interesting. Let's see if she does it this time. Yeah, that's you. Let's see if it gets through. Auto screens. Okay. Let's see. She's in queue. Let's see if we can get Ashley on the phone.
Hello?
Hi, Ashley. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Hi. How are you?
Do me a favor. Turn your volume down on your computer.
Hey, actually,
Oh, I just dropped my phone. I did.
There you go. Okay, that's better. We're getting the feedback on the show a little bit. So welcome to the show.
I'm supposed well, thank you for having me. It's my second time actually watching you. And Stephen seems amazing, and so do you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I feel like I'm more of like producer today than I am media, but that's all right. That's all right. That's why I like to have guests
Too
on,
cute for words.
Yeah. You can tell you're from North Carolina. That's nice. So
Don't make fun of my southern accent.
I just think it's cute. I think it's cute. So you have the father-in-law. This was you that was chatting with Stephen about your father-in-law that had passed,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't know if you have anything else, Stephen, but let me see if I can pick up on anything while we're.
Yes, I there's a lot of things going around here, and I need to know like how he feels about what's being done with his house and stuff like that. I'm just worried what to do.
You know, Ashley, you know, I love that your father-in-law came through first in such a complimentary way about you, because what he why he did that, Ashley, was that he doesn't want to start or focus on what you just asked of that question. Not that that's not a legitimate question, because you're concerned and you love the family and whatnot, but I just love how he comes in a like a completely different way, saying, you know, honey, like everything that's happening is all going to work out. You know, I know you said there's some things going on. It just also feels like someone came out of the woodwork, or there were someone wasn't talking at some point. I don't know really what this is. There also feels like your father-in-law is talking about there was already an issue with with material things. I don't know if someone already
Yes.
went to his place and grabbed stuff, because he's watching everything.
Yes.
And so just
Oh,
know.
I know, and I don't think he's too happy about it.
Well, let me say this, Ashley, and I'm sure Scott has his own opinion too. All I can tell you from my experience is that when we get into spirit, we lose the earthly stuff, right? So, you know, your father-in-law, as much as you're coming from, which is normal and natural, you're coming from the earth state. He's coming from a place looking down, like he just wants it all resolved. He doesn't care about the material things. He just wants everybody to be happy. And that's what his energy is trying to do. Of course, he wants as quickly as it can be resolved, but just know that your father-in-law is doing what he can to sort of bring down the tempers and sort of as much as he can, and just try to make things more sort of peaceful. He does feel bad though that he didn't leave. Like I don't know if someone is contesting something, or he didn't leave like a will or a process.
He didn't leave his other son any money, and his other son wants all of it. He left the money to his second son.
Yeah, so that's the one sort of regret that he has, that he did that because of what is happening, what he's seeing. But remember too, Ashley, that he was just like us, right? So on this earthly plane, he wouldn't have known or thought about what, like how everything would sort of like open up. Now in spirit, he does. So he just said, Stephen, just tell Ashley, thank you for being Ashley. Just thank you. I know I talked about this earlier, how compassionate you are. And he also just said, and Ashley, you can't control, your brain doesn't stop. You go to sleep and wake up with stuff on your brain and your mind. And that there's some things that we can't control. That just some things that we can't control. And he just he keeps handing you a rose, which is always just a big hug. But there's also Rose connection to you. Someone's name is Rose. Rosary, Rose.
I don't think so.
He begs to differ.
I mean, I've left roses on my father's grave and in his hand when he's in his coffin, but other than that.
That's going to be, so your dad's in spirit. So it's going to be your dad letting me know he's stepping forward too. So just keep that with you. Your dad just showed me my dad. So there's either William or Joseph. One of those names is connected somehow, some way. First name, middle name.
No, I don't know that name. I really
not your dad.
McDonald, and my father-in-law's name was Danny.
Yeah. Try not to tell us the names, because I like spirit to do the work.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. But the William or Joseph is either, or there's a junior, because my dad was a junior, so it could be a junior also. But those names, William or Joseph, Ashley, are connected somehow, most likely connected to your husband's side. So there's a Joseph or a William or Bill, somewhere there. Again, if it doesn't come, just keep it with you, either living or crossed. And the only other thing I will tell you that I could be misreading is that my dad was also a big drinker. So that also could be part of if someone was an alcoholic.
100%.
So that's probably what it is then, Ashley.
Yes, that my dad was an alcoholic, and Danny at the end, he just kind of started drinking Jack Daniels every day. He wanted to go be with his wife. And I just wanted to make sure they were happy together.
So just know that dad is just You know, sometimes people say to me, that's not the greatest validation, right? That I was a drinker. And I just love the humor in Spirit, because they said, well, they knew exactly who you were talking about. So, you know, Ashley, you just got a lot of love and light around you. And you just have to keep that with you, especially with your parents.
Thank you so much. Y'all have made my evening. You two are amazing at what you do.
Thanks for
And
joining
I
us,
thank
Ashley.
you so much for everything you do for every people. Y'all are awesome.
Thank
you, Ashley.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Matthew from Connecticut. Are we on the air?
Can you guys hear me this time?
I can hear you. It's a miracle. There it is. It's awesome. This is Matthew. You know Matthew. It is the Matthew.
Who?
The Matthew. Yeah. Matthew. Oh, isn't he on that show on, I don't know. What show is that? What's the name of it again? I've forgotten.
Oh, I don't know. Some show on Amazon. I don't know. I work with two of the best mediums. So yeah. So if you don't know the show, then you don't know the two mediums.
No, who are they? What are their names? No. It's great. It's great. Thanks for checking in.
I don't want to change the topic, but there's something that Stephen did on the Concord episode, which was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. Anybody check it out. It's on Amazon Prime, what he did. We as investigators always want to know, do the spirits like us? You know, do they like that we're doing this? You know, how do they feel about us? And without even knowing me, Stephen actually, during the filming, actually turned to me and told me that the spirits absolutely love what I'm doing. And it kind of like blew me off guard. So that was very cool to see that and capture it and record it so people could see that in the episodes. Stephen, talk about that when the spirits are telling you about that.
Yeah, and I didn't know that was even a concern. You know, there was my first time in any of the paranormal world. I had never done anything in the paranormal world until Matthew reached out to me. And I just remember in the middle of filming, I can't remember if it was a soldier. I don't remember, but I remember someone coming up to me and like sort of tapping me and then, pointing to you, Matthew, and doing a thumbs up. And I'm like, oh my God, you like him. But they did tell me that there was at some point, I don't know when this was, but there was another crew, maybe more than one crew, that they gave nothing to because they didn't like them. So the authentic part of why, Matthew, you were doing this and are doing this is really what they saw and why they opened up and wanted me to share that with you, which was so cool.
Well, don't you think, too, they have free will? They have free will whether they talk to you, talk to me, you know, whether they want to make themselves known or not. And I think you probably can attest to this too. There are some spirits, you do a reading and they come through and they're very chatty, you know, very, very chatty. Others, you know, they're there, right? They'll give you little pieces, but they're not going to be as in your face, and they just have free will. So it's great. It was a great episode. I loved watching that. It was a great episode.
Thank you, Scott. And I'm looking.
What's that, Matt?
When he was up in not the morgue, where they I'm drawing a blank here, but when he kept talking about this R girl, this Rosa girl, he just kept saying, who is this Rosa girl? You know, she's like a nurse and she's around here. Do you know I had to actually dig archive after archive after archive to actually find out that there was a nurse in that place back in the day named Rosa, which was absolutely amazing that I found that name that's documented that nobody knew about, and he picked that girl up when he was doing his walkthrough.
That's amazing. It's fantastic. And that's the stuff I love. That's what I love about this mediumship. It's just, you know, I don't often know where it comes from. And sometimes I forget how I even got it or that I even got it. You know, like, why did I say that? Or why did I think that? Where did that come from? I don't always know. It's like a memory that just kind of gets put in your brain sometimes. You just know it.
Absolutely. And you know, Scott, it changes too, right? And Matthew, it just changes how we get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just sometimes it's more dominant in hearing things, sometimes, or at least for me, sometimes it's more dominant seeing things, just like you said, Scott, just knowing things and not knowing how you knew them.
It's true. And I don't know about you, but it's also so much more fine-tuned than it was. I mean, when this first started happening, it was like in my face. You know, you couldn't deny it. Now it's just a lot more subtle, but specific.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can pick up more
Yeah,
on
before I
names and
go,
things. Yeah.
The most interesting part was when he's walking down from the third floor. He said, "Oh, who's this little dog? You know, I feel like this little dog." And you know, absolutely, when I was editing the episode, after he said, "Who's this little dog?" there was an EVP of an actual dog right after he said that, and there was no
Really?
dogs on the premises of the. Oh yeah.
That blew me away. I didn't know that when we filmed until I got to see the episode. And when I talked about the dog and then you hear the dog bark, that just really blew me away. That was crazy. That really was crazy.
It's fantastic. Sometimes
Yeah.
we get them through here too.
So,
listen to this episode when we're done.
so everybody, who's watching, I am working on Scott's episode at the Clifton Theater. Just absolutely wait till you guys see this episode. I don't want to go into details, but just the top three mediums of the Dark Echo show are Scott, Steven, and Gregory. You guys are absolutely amazing at what you do, and what people see, it's legit. And I can't wait for everybody to see your episode of the Clifton Theater. We're actually getting ready to leave tomorrow for filming for PA. So yes. I got to get going. But guys, it was absolutely amazing talking to you guys. Steven, love everything about you. Scott, what you do. Everybody who watches this, you guys are watching two of the best out there. And like I said, and I'll say it again, Steven could be the next John Edwards.
I said it. That's what you said. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Well, you could tell. I mean, he's got such a great way about him, and very, very clear the way that he brings his messages forward. It's fantastic. So you need to do an episode with the three mediums. You know, we should do that. Oh, he hung up the phone. I guess he wasn't interested, but that's all right. I think we should do that. Greg's in, I don't know if he's in Indiana or Ohio or something, but yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun. So let's see. Anna says, I'm a sensitive. It took me a very long time to accept my abilities, but last June I hit rock bottom and felt like I had nowhere to turn, but I got through it. So my question is, can either of you guys pick up anything on anything from me? I'm just wondering if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, or if I'm exactly where I need to be on my personal journey. You know, and I feel like too, Anna, this sensitivity, you know, not just with you, but with anybody that starts to go on this journey, this unfoldment, it can really shake you. I think, you know, if you question everything. I questioned everything. You know, I didn't want to tell anybody. I was worried about what they might think and if I'm crazy. And I mean, you know, so you feel like, you know, you really can feel like on top of what else is going on in your life, you can feel like you're at rock bottom. And I think that's normal, but you know, the universe knows better. The universe knows things that you don't know. You know, the universe knows things that you haven't yet realized. And so it'll come. I think you're finding your journey. Let's just put it that way. I think you're finding it. It took me 50 some odd years. It really did.
You know, I think, Scott, that's one of the greatest things about what Anna wrote about, you know, her journey, and what you mentioned is that each one of us are here for a reason, right? We're here to do the best we can to get on our journey, and no one can tell us. And that's where we get really screwed up, is when we are either trying to live someone else's journey or someone is telling us how to do or live our journey, right? That's how this is. The best way is to figure it out ourselves. And like you said, Scott, I think sometimes something like what Anna did, go through rock bottom, is where she needed to be. I mean, I don't say that I'm being insensitive, because I'm not really sure what she did, but I will tell you, Anna, when I tune into Anna's energy, there's Native Americans. There's just Native Americans. I see like a dream catcher, and I keep seeing a lot of past lives. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Anna had that sort of history of Native Americans, and that is, I think, so cool, and especially when you connect to that culture, because they just have a different way of looking at spirit, which is such a respectful way, and is so connected. So I think you know, Anna is definitely, like you said, Scott, I think Anna is on or going in the right direction with where She's healing too. Like I keep seeing her hands are green. So she's a healer, like almost like I don't know if you've ever looked into Reiki, but there's a big healing piece to you also. And there's somebody above you too that was connected, like a grandmother or a great grandmother or somebody, even could be a great grandfather. I don't know. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you. We just have a few minutes left, and I really wanted to have a few minutes, Stephen, to have you share a little bit about how people can find out more about you. And you know what? Let me just put this up here. Tell me if this is right. I just changed the banner, Stephen the Medium's, StephenTheMedium.com, right? That's correct if they want to find your website. And, can they get a reading with you? Where can they see you? I know you're doing some public demonstrations. I know a lot of these people aren't necessarily here from the Massachusetts area, but I know you've got one. Is it coming up in Marlborough or is that over yet?
No, that's coming up Saturday at the American Legion. And that's in the afternoon. So it's like 1 to 3. So if you're in that area of Marlborough, or any surrounding area, come see me. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I think April 28th, I'm at, Dunn & Sons. It's a very small venue. And that is in Yarmouth Port in the Cape. But like you said, Scott, anybody can get a reading via Zoom also. I have my office in New Bedford, so you can make an appointment there to see me in person. Or if you're not close, you can just go to StephenTheMedium.com and there's a calendar and you can book appointments. And it's kind of interesting. I didn't know what you did at the beginning of the show because I do, and I've done for a couple of years, what's called a whisper in a note that you can actually even purchase. And it's the same thing what you do. And it's, I just created what's called a whisper in a note, and I use some software that I not only write the note, but then I do a video. So when I send you the note, there's a video attached to it with me speaking about every line and word about the note. So you can purchase that online. Also, you can do a reading with the note. And of course, you can get this here. That's my book, which came out December 8th. And it's called The Suicide Gift. And it really just is about when my dad took his life when I was 8 years old, how it just sort of turned me into this very vicious, angry, hateful of myself person for many, many, many years. And how ultimately why I attach those two words, which usually don't go together, the suicide gift, is that ultimately when I processed everything and figured out that I wasn't to blame for my father killing himself, that's when the gift opened up. So that's the suicide gift.
Yeah. I think it doesn't, suicide doesn't take away the pain. It just gives it to somebody else. Really. It continues on. And, it's good that you've been able to develop your gift and understand that because, I'm sure it's difficult. So please check out StephenTheMedium.com. You can see he is so talented. Feel free to book a reading with him. He's amazing. Go see one of his shows if you're around. And while you're at it, check out Scott Allen, MediumScottAllen.com. We're coming back to Westport, Stephen. We have a show we're booking in Westport on June 13th. That hasn't gone on sale yet. And she says, and cute too. Aw. And married. And yeah. And so we're going back to Westport and we've got a few other things in the book. So check it out. But please, please, please check out Stephen the Medium. And don't forget to go on Dark Echoes and check out his episode of the Concord Colonial Inn. I really think you'll love it. So all of you, thank you so much for joining us. Stephen, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's like the quickest hour. It always is the quickest hour when we have good guests.
Blink of an eye, Scott. But this was so great to get to meet you and do this. And I love your venue and I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Hang on the line, Stephen. I'll be right back with you. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful week. And we will see you next week right here on Spirit Talk Live. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today for Spirit Talk Live with Scott Allen. Please remember to subscribe to Spirit Talk Live on YouTube and share on all your social media channels.